Welcome back, folks. We are jumping into game 5, our last and final game of this best of 5 series. Both Neolution and D-Dog, of course, are up 2-2 each. They've tied up the past 4 games, and now this will be the deciding game in this G League Grand Final series. Couple of bands coming out. D-Dog with their usual respect band of Ophelia from Zlapped. Of course, we call it respect band all the time because he is very good with that hero, but at the same time it does provide a lot of early game ganking potential and power for the Neolution lineup. That does really affect what they're trying to do usually with these hardcore aggressive push lineups that they have. So yeah, there's that, and also they banned out Keep All the Forest as well, a hero that Neolution have picked tons. I think 3 out of 4 of those previous games, and of course right now 3 out of 5 of all the games. The bans coming out from Neolution, of course, Clank's gonna be the usual ban, and Belphegor, probably because they just don't want to pick it and they don't want to give it to D-Dog, who have played a pretty mean Belphegor in one of the earlier games. First few pickups gonna be Monarch and South Forest. This time Monarch, the very defensive support, gonna go the way of D-Dog. And of course that combos up pretty well with something as tanky as Lord South Forest. Gonna be able to reduce the damage he takes even more and just heal up all the damage he's already soaked out. And the first 2 picks for the side of Neolution, this time they're gonna be taking the heroes that D-Dog have picked, and Fate as well for D-Dog. So it seems like both teams are pretty much just swapping the heroes that they've been picking. So Wild Soul gonna go the way of Neolution. Seems like they are gonna be favoring that later game strat with the power of that Wild Soul to just be an absolute monster with the right amount of farm on him. And Polywop Priest gonna be the pick up here as well. Lots and lots of lane presence and lane pressure, actually, in terms of when they're trying to push on those towers, so that Wild Soul can be left alone to his own devices. And of course Fate, a fairly good response to Wild Soul actually, if they can catch him out early on. Gonna be pretty good if they could mobilize the line up to just overrun Wild Soul while he is trying to farm, and the rest of the lineup as well. But Jeremiah, once again, very, very protective as a support to be picked up here, and of course does have quite a bit of a nuke with his new E. Not a hero that we usually see in competitive, really. Quite rare, to be honest, but interestingly enough is picked up, so excited to see how this will play out. Does work quite well with Wild Soul to just protect him out and make sure that he doesn't take any damage while he goes ham. And the protective charm, of course, the slow does go onto whatever hero that you put it on. So Wild Soul does do very well with an additional slow on him, especially in his melee ultimate form. Few more bands gonna come out. Gonna be Bombardier and Tundra here. And of course Tundra has been a hero that D-Dog has loved to play these past few games as well. Very good for catching heroes out of position. A little bit of BM coming out from Zlapped. You forgot Tempest and Legio, all the respect bans and all the jungle bans against him. But Cersei gonna be banned out here as well from the side of D-Dog. A little bit of a curious ban. Cersei not being, of course, best comboed up with a range hero with a great passive, something like Clanks especially. But hasn't really been picked up this tournament, has been banned a few times. And in the times that she hasn't been banned, well, she hasn't really been picked up at all, as you can see. But yeah, Bubble's being banned out as well, so once again countering that the power of the magic immunity that Jeremiah can provide to the other heroes. Andromeda gonna be banned out once again as well. And Electrician, of course, having a really strong showing in game 3, I believe, or was it game 2? But yeah, so interesting few bans, I guess. And Pearl gonna be the purger for the side of D-Dog. Of course, always nice to have a hero that can purge off any positive buffs that the enemy has. And in Pearl's case, it's gonna be able to purge off the Soul's Blessing, I do believe. And Slither is gonna be the next pick up for the side of Neolution. Slither boasting quite a bit of power in one of their lineups before. Of course, great counter initiative power as well as pushing power with that Polywalk Priest on top of him, with both the Voodoo Wards and the Toxin Wards, excuse me, to be able to push. So yeah, looking to be pretty strong with applying pressure on these lanes. And it might just be a Draconis here to wrap things up. Of course, it would probably go the way of Zlapped in that case, and it would just...
Parasite!
Oh, so it's a Parasite! After all, instead of a Draconis, Madman gonna be the core carry for the side of D-Dog, going the way of IPX the way it did in game 1 as well. And Parasite gonna be the final pick for the side of Neolution.
Let's get it on.
And while we are undergoing the usual game beginning pause, let's go to the hero lineups. In the Legion side, playing for Team D-Dog, we have Tart on the Lord South Forest, Kanom Pang on the Fade, Sir Bats on the Pearl, Parfum on that Monarch, and IPX on the Madman. Facing off against them, we have on the side of Neolution Esports, playing on the Hellborn team, we have Lord Mikhail on Polywalk Priest, Sakurada on Slither, 5678 trying out that Jeremiah, Raditz on that carry Wild Sword, and Zlapped on that jungle Parasite. Yeah, all in all, really a lot of pressure early on in these lanes. So they're like D-Dog, they're gonna have to be careful with how they play around Neolution, and likewise for Neolution with heroes like Fade and Lords of Forest especially. But I think a lot of the laning phase hinges upon how well how quickly rather Zlapped is able to like come out of the jungle, and how well they are able to start off that first initiation with that jungle gank.
clear low.
And they're gonna start things off. Monarch running right into that that Hellborn jungle to place a ward on that hard camp to block out parasites creep spawn. Of course, Hellborn in response is gonna have on their side instead a ward, a ward further up in the lane here, just for lane control and vision. At the same time, they are gonna be able to ward out that that rune spot here on that Hellborn, on that Legion side, excuse me, and watch for any entrances into the Legion jungle. So that is gonna be a pretty secure bottom lane. So Forest looking to get as much out of this lane and as much XP early on as possible. Already went for an immediate level up in Dark Lord's presence here, so might just start stacking up those camps ASAP to take a little bit of extra farm on the side as well. So on the top lane, it seems it will be a tri-lane versus the Polywalk Priest. Very, very vulnerable in this setup. Monarch could easily drop a crippling pollen on him and it would just result in just like potentially a kill here really. With the damage coming out from Madman just a few levels more, it should be more than enough really. And Fade here on that middle lane against that Slither, who has gotten that level in Poison Spray, so there to box him out like an absolute beast. Waltzo, of course, happy with his usual amount of farm inside the jungle. It will be an offlane parasite in the end here, instead of a jungle one. Waltzo still gets jungle priority instead of going to that safe lane. Meanwhile, 567 really did take that core Jeremiah position on that middle lane. Interestingly enough. Let's go for that straight up early level in Righteous Strike for the extra farm and of course the harass and like the ability to tangle with Fade a little bit. So Forest dropping a little bit low against the harass from the Slither and the Parasite. But gonna be stopped by Monarch as well. Top lane Holly not overextending his boundaries, doing fairly well to stay behind the line of the tower and not being caught out by the Madman and the Pearl here. But Fade making the most out of the rune control here against Jeremiah. He's 10-0 to Jeremiah's 18-4, so Jeremiah doing much better on lane against the Fade.
Thanks for wasting my time.
And Parasite at this point, fortunately at level 3, has invaded the Hellborn jungle to try to get a little bit more out of his hero. Because in general here, don't get spotted out by Fate, so goes for the runway. Fate does not have enough range for the stun to catch him off with the TPs, unfortunately. But Parasite will already have that Blood Chalice, so looks like he might move towards that top lane. Perhaps grab a creep from that pile. So hard camp is still blocked out. No D ward to be found here. Vagabond leader, not much damage to be found either, so not gonna be nearly enough to pull for a kill. Or perhaps it will. Zlapped sitting by the sidelines will probably just use the creep to push in the end. Won't be able to catch out something like Madman after all, or Pearl. Damage from the General side. Still tons and tons of damage coming out from the inner light. The Q, a level 3, that's 270 like health swing. Yeah, between Jerizaiah and whoever's next to him, pretty much. But he does pop the Invis rune and is walking towards that Monarch. The slow should be hidden during Invis, and indeed it will. But he will keep tabs on Monarch. Polywalk Priest walking up the cliff, but will be spotted out by that ward, and Monarch will just back right off. Ward's about to expire in about 3 seconds though, but Poly will not be aware of this at all. Jerizaiah just forced to back off, unfortunately. Will not be able to find a kill onto that Monarch.
The reaping has but begun.
Jerizaiah with nothing much else left to do, just pops the Invis onto Fade. There's a little bit of extra harass down, and will continue to farm his way up. Meanwhile, Wildso having a pretty good time on lane here. Highest GPM on the map, although not by a large margin. Is still having pretty much the jungle plus a free lane at this point of time. Parasite though not being able to find much application out of what his hero is in general here. No ganks to be found for him. But as a trade-off with the piece that Wildso has been enjoying on lane, it should be pretty okay. Fate stopped by Slither and Jerizaiah on the way to the rune, but Monarch comes in to intervene as well and picks up that regen for herself. Middle lane, Fate goes onto Jerizaiah, but will not be enough. Charm used on himself and just TP straight out, so he will be fine just there and then. Wildso doing Wildso things just nicely on his way to that Rune Cleaver. Already has the mana tube. We'll start pushing down on that defense tower as well. Tier 1 gonna fall pretty soon here. The Zalforis turns it around on him, and the tower will be denied. Forced back by Morcitissima with the Undying Covenant on him. And Polywalk Priest will get World Bubble back before he gets a chance to tie anyone up or hex him up. Jerizaiah will join his teammates on top lane, but they will all eventually back off before they decide to commit to any pushes. Wildso has to be careful here. Fate keeping tabs on him. Rest of the team is coming in hot as well. Wildso should be dead here. But what movement speed? He's running right away, and the slow from Boo Boo will stop lots of force as well. So nicely played by Raditz here. A 4-man rotation into the jungle gets them barely any payoff here. So Hellborn gonna be very happy with wasting the time of the Legion team. And they might try to push just a little bit onto that middle lane right about now. Voodoo Wars will be committed and will be a full-on push in fact. Parasite comes in and joins the team as well with the Vulture Lord. And Wild so happy to farm away, Sustainer on him already. 200 extra gold to boot. And that's a 2k lead, 9 minutes in. Not the biggest lead at this point of time, but at this point of time it really is just something at all. No real ganks to be found, but the pushes and the dodges are good. Side, just take a casual tier 1 tower on that bottom lane. Nothing much to be found here, but pretty nice as a little bit extra on the side here. Hellborn don't try to defend it at all. Perhaps they were a little bit too slow and the tower was kind of low. But Jeremiah just resumes with the farm, as do the rest of his team. Sustainer now out on Madman himself, but also is still just a little bit ahead. Extra 200 going on him, I imagine that he has that extra broadsword, and indeed he does. Gonna see that pretty soon on that Wild Soul. Jeremiah going greedy for that alchemist games here. Wants to try to transition into some semblance of a teamfight item, I suppose. And it will go hard on that tier 1 defense tower on the bottom lane, and it will fall fast. Meanwhile, Hellborn, Legion side, excuse me, go onto the tower on middle lane instead, but they will not be able to push it nearly as fast. And Hellborn can easily TP onto middle to defend if they wish, but it seems like they might just transition this into a dual tower push. Legion side not showing most of their team, keeping Hellborn on their toes, but Hellborn will commit into this defense tower under the attacks of the blue wards. Should fall pretty soon here. Rest of the Legion side kind of skirt around that tier 2 tower area on middle lane, but they will not be able to take it down at all. Once again, both teams playing fairly passively when it comes to team fights, but they do get a nice amount of push in while they start to ramp their items up. Wild Soul has finished his Rune Cleaver, so he's gonna want to farm even more. The rest of the team, what do they have like in terms of like being able to fight? Jeremiah, all he has is his Alt Bones. That Parasite working towards the puzzle box will get it pretty soon here, so might consider a team fight, but with just a level 1 puzzle box and no real items for the rest of his teammates as well, they still might not want to try for anything too risky here. Nothing to be found just yet. The Wild Soul perhaps too scary a figure to fight into, so the rest of Legion will scatter and pack off as well. But Lord Sulphurus is invist up here inside Hellborn's own jungle. He might spot out Jeremiah, but he has to be very careful here. Blue wards will spot him out. And I believe that blue ward was used to deward another red ward from inside, so he will be wary of that area. Meanwhile, Hellborn transitioning yet another push. Should be an easy tower. Poro tries to go for the D9 but will not be able to do so. All 5 heroes pushing out on top lane. Parasite does have the Hell Cannon as well, so that is a lot of damage to a tower. But it doesn't seem like they will be able to see high ground this early at all. Just merely 13 minutes in, but Jeremiah cancels the TP actually. Wants to commit to this, and Voodoo Wards will be dropped as well. Seems like they want to go for the teamfight. TP will be cancelled. He was way too out of position for that to work out. And it seems like probably was Monarch. Monarch won't have a TP for a good minute. She has to run all the way back to base to defend, and the 3 tower is taken down to about half health. They don't take it, but that's a pretty damn strong push for an attempt 14 minutes in. Jeremiah just tangos with Monarch just a little bit. Will take her down really low, but nothing to be found from that, and backs off before he gets caught by Fate.
Ain't nobody killing that tower but me.
Middle tier 2 will be denied out by Polly. In a passive game like this where both teams are just trying to push out as much as they can, that's a pretty big deal for the objectives that they're trying to aim for. Meanwhile, Wild Soul is working towards that seemingly what is a BKB, I suppose. Despite the presence of Jeremiah Charm, doesn't feel like it's enough, so will deal with that BKB. And go straight for that Conquer take now. More than enough, just by himself, honestly, just with the Kuku. But Slither and the rest of the team is going to help out. They want to take it as soon as possible before Legion realizes this. It does seem that they already do, but at this point in time, they know that they can't fight into this conflict. So they will be wary and they will give up Kongor. So this might spell somewhat of a more effective push for this Hellborn team, but they do need to clear out at least a few heroes before they can like properly siege high ground. Jeremiah hasted up here. Fade near that bottom river area, nothing to be found. And Wild Soul starts pushing down that middle tier 2 tower. Legion, they're looking to fight against a very scary Wild Soul at this point of time. Pushing like an absolute monster, and honestly, you could just go right up to that tower and start pushing it as well. Well, he does not have Voodoo Wards at this point of time to help push, but it might not even matter. Wild Soul deals the bulk of the damage all by himself. And the BKB is completed on him as well as the puzzle box. He's already at level 2 that we never really noticed, but hasn't been there haven't really been any team fights per se where that has been able to be used. So at least for now, it seems like it's an item just dedicated to pushing once again. Fate here, haven't really looked at the Legion side's items, but Fate with that Outbones and the PK on herself, so looking to, probably transition into the Outbones from the PK. Not much to be found in this game at all, unfortunately for her, so probably forced to go into that PK, that Outbones, excuse me. Help one side, pushing down top lane. Legion will be forced back once again. Before it gets the TP as well, the entire team is ready to port right back, and indeed they will. Also tries to go for it, but will be forced back by the more Santissima from Road South Forest. And the entirety of the team is here once more. Polywalk smoked up as well. Might try to go for another push attempt here with the Voodoo Wards. Goes drop is straight up on top of the tower, or rather right next to it. Preservation bubble drop already. Fate stun onto 2. Wild Soul caught out here. Still has the BKB, still has a token. Will have no need to pop the BKB at this point of time. Undying onto him, dealing a bunch of damage. Meanwhile, Madman trying to push up the bottom lane to try to even out the towers here. But Wild Soul will just go for a straight TP out in the end. Onto that bottom lane, in fact, and we'll just annihilate everything that Madman has tried to do at that point of time. But Madman getting a little bit of nice farm onto himself as well. 585. Nearly neck and neck with Wild Soul in terms of farm. Excuse me. And yeah, Polly does have the tablet of command to help teammates out, get out in a pinch, and Jeremiah has a BKB of his own. So much magic immunity coming out for this Hellborn side. Will it be enough at this point of time? They're not taking team fights anyway. Lots and lots of team fight items, but no real team fight to be found. These are both teams playing so cautiously. They don't want to give away any semblance of an advantage to the other, for fear that they might just turn this game right around. Both of them are banging on the doors of each other's bases at the tier 3 towers on both of their off lanes. Wild Soul does pick up his Nyx pushing / teamfight item, has a Soul's Bulwark on him, token to expire in 37 seconds, wants to go very aggressively if at all. 32 seconds more, the rest of the enemy team might just try to wait out at the end. Wild Soul will get stunned up and a bunch of spam onto him, Crippling Fallen, but as expected they don't want to commit onto him, but he will try to be as big of an issue as he can. Undying drop on his hit. He might just outlive the token, which is a huge issue. Now they're panicking and they're backing off. Wild Soul does not want to commit to this fate. Stops their retreat, and Wild Soul token to expire in 3, 2, 1, and they are out of a token. Does Wild Soul still want to fight? No, there's an instant TP out. Rest of the team. This is a perfect opportunity for Fate to try and catch 1 or 2 heroes. The stun misses onto Jeremiah, unfortunately, and only catches Parasite. But he jumps into the other creep and nearly kills Fate in exchange, but he will die to the burst on the more Satisima and Monarch. And unfortunately, disaster strikes for this Hellborn team. They couldn't commit fast enough with that Wild Soul, with the token. They just took their time to decide, and they took way too long. In the end, they panicked, and you could see it on their faces. Wild Soul suddenly ran with his tail between his legs with the rest of his team outside of the enemy base, and they were just forced to immediately TP out. Unfortunately, Legion side couldn't punish them nearly as much as well. Kanon Pang could only get a stun onto 1 in the end, but still was a catch onto a hero at all after all, and that will actually be our first kill of the game. Right now, T-Dog are up 1-0, 22 minutes in. And it's just been a continuous back and forth of pushes and trying to avoid just a full-on slaughterfest here. And Parasite does have his level 3 puzzle box already, so once again, even more power to him. Tier 3 tower has fallen, if that's a sign of anything at all, so should be much easier for these Hellborn heroes to siege that high ground. Puzzle box minions will be summoned already, and they're gonna go for it. Meanwhile, Madman is pushing out towards that middle lane and trying to take down that tower. They have to be very careful with how they attempt this. They don't go as soon as possible here. They're going to lose a tier 3 tower on middle lane and perhaps even a Rax or two. Once again, they're skirting out around the edges. They're playing so safely. And Fate, she's just gonna capitalize on this. Catches out both Wildso and Slither. Disaster for them. Slither commits the ultimate. Lords of Forest is gonna be protected by that preservation bubble. But Pearl tries to go in on them. Jeremiah jumps right back in. Gets pushed out by the war bubble. Will get preserved by that Crystal just for a while longer. But Fate goes in with the stun and the cow catches only Wildso. Wildso dropping so low. South Forest going in for him. But it will not be enough. The Soul's Blessing will keep him alive with extra regen as well. But Wildso so afraid, running away from South Forest. A few right clicks might have done it. But the crit from Jeremiah will be enough with the Ice Brand as well. Lots of damage on him. But Man will be able to finish him off with the Stalk. Polywalk has to hex him up. We'll pick up the Illusion Rune, but it will not be enough at this point in time. Man pops a BKB as well, and that is a dead Polywalk. In the end, it's a 2-4-3 trade favoring the side of DD0G here, and once again, no real push to be had. And meanwhile, Man pushes up that middle lane tower, tier 3, on 164 health. Man doing a much better job at split pushing than the entire Hellborn side is doing, and just straight up pushing. The resistance is just too great from the side of DD0G, or rather, there's too much of a mental block here for the side of Neolution as well. They can't decide on whether they want to go in hard or not, and it's that indecisiveness that's causing them these fights. If they want to take the safe play, they should just TP back ASAP and just go for the Madman. Fate's always just gonna be sitting around the edge while they take their time to decide on what they want to do. And look at Madman, as a result of pushing, as a result of taking those exit kills, he's gotten himself like this Harkon's Blade. So he's gonna be a huge menace in these team fights, even more damage on him. A little bit of a strange pickup though, because it is against like 2 BKBs and a protective charm from Jeremiah, but I suppose it's still gonna be good in case, just in case I suppose. Once that BKB runs out. South Forest and Pearl skirting around the edge of the cockpit. They know that they're trying to take Kongor. Neolution can't afford to just run up and try to take Kong so ballsily like this. South Forest get hexed up immediately, but he will be okay. Jumps right in. Fate goes for the double stun, triple stun in fact, with the preservation bubble. So much damage onto them. South Forest dropping really low. The ward's doing so much damage. Wildso will get hit with the Undying, but it will not be enough. Man dropping really low himself as well. Pearl should fall to the right clicks of Wildso with that Q from Polywalk as well. One more right click on to do it onto Man, and Man will fall. Polywalk binds up Monarch, but Fate on the backline trying to catch him out. One more right click on to do it, but Fate gets Wildso. Polywalk in the end trades up with Fate as well, and it's a 4-4-4 massacre here. The only remaining ones on either side are the Monarch and the Polywalk Priest, so 2 supports basically still remaining alive, but I suppose Polywalk's more of a core at this point in time. Safely in Polywalk and that support Monarch. Look at Monarch as a support, still going for Orc Bones as well, so looking to wrap up his own items. you look at Jeremiah, so afraid, puts the charm on himself immediately before he goes into even try and outbones that that large creep. So afraid that he'd be caught out by Fate out of position instantly. And right now, it's Legion's turn to start banging on the base of this Hellborn side. Fate here by the sidelines doesn't get spotted out just yet. A bunch of heroes all covered up in Veiled Rod here. All 4 of them, in fact. All 4 Veiled Rods used up, and Slither the only one here baiting by the entrance. Jeremiah, they will find out Fate. Mistake by Fate, gets hexed up immediately by Polywalk Priest, reveals herself, and will get bursted down with Jeremiah as well. Salfor is now here on the run. Rest of his teammates are in front of him, and it doesn't seem like they can commit onto him without any proper initiation from behind. Salfor also just isn't enough to go on him, and he might just get turned on and listed down alone. They take the smart play and they go straight into the Kong pit, and this should be a very fast Kong with the help of those 2 boys as well. And perhaps a little bit too confident of Fate to just go onto that creep wave, thinking that the rest of the team wouldn't be following behind with all of them missing. She might have expected them to all be just like hiding inside their base, but as afraid of Fate as they are, they're still looking to turn the game through a fight or 2. Yeah, nicely enough. At this point in time, with so much armor on them, demonic breastplate as well, especially on this wild soul with the Soul's blessing from Jeremiah, of course. The main application of that Harken's blade is to take them down in those states. But you can see both secondary cores building up with their items. Jeremiah here has his Ice Brand as he had in those previous fights, looking to build towards that Frostwolf Skull pretty soon, I'd imagine. Same with Salforus here. Polywalk is smoked up, looking for some sort of opening once again. Did spot out Pearl in that bottom rune area, but will not be able to make a move with Batman around her. And with that push off that wave, 3 heroes in fact will immediately team back, already running on the way back, and Madman will continue that split push as he does. This time going onto the bottom lane, but he should easily transition into middle to take that tier 3 tower. But the push comes much too rapidly from Hellborn's side, and they will right into that base for that melee rank. He goes in for the stun, but only catches Slither here. Preservation Bubble will bounce them back further, and Slither will be able to survive. Should be able to get his ultimate off here. Soul's Blessing already committed, but all of them are too far away from the rest of the heroes. Madman will get silenced up. Parasite will catch him out, but Lost Salfor is right in the middle of no man's land, committed on by all 5 of them. And and it will be pretty much a free Rex at that point of time. They can't do anything to contest it at all. Fade on the back lines, trying to go for a polywalk, dropping solo and has no mana at all, but he will be fine for now. Parasite should get taken out at this point of time. Poly gets the Peaky out just in the nick of time. Madman stalking his way to polywalk. Seems like he turned back there for a second, but should be fully committed in trying to take him down. Barrel roll in with that tableau of command, but it will not be enough, and Poly will fall. So Legion's Hellborn side lose 3 at the cost at the benefit of taking a Rex and killing off Fate as well. So honestly, not a bad trade at all considering how passively this game has been going. Madman looking to be a monster though at this point of time. Barely any heroes to protect up that high ground area, so he could just like push up and try to be a little bit ballsy here and just take the tower at least. It seems like our Monarch has farmed up something pretty good out of her Alchemist Bones. Goes straight for that Sand Scepter to purge out all the buffs that Jeraziah can apply onto his teammates. So pretty value at that. But at this point of time, doesn't really seem like it's gonna be enough. Especially on something like Wild Soul, because the amount of damage that he can dish out just from standing his ground, it's just gonna kind of make all that irrelevant at that point of time. Now it seems like all members in this game have respawned and they are ready to go for round 2. The Hellborn, they just look to go back into the jungle to capitalize on whatever farm they missed so far. The the remaining tier 3 towers look healthy enough at least. Couldn't say the same for the one on the middle lane for Hellborn side. But Madman's gonna have to be very careful with how he tries to split push from now on, because he doesn't have that Rex on that top lane. So Echo Creeps are gonna be pushing in, and on top of that, the rest of Hellborn side are gonna be pushing out at least one other lane. So if he commits for far too long, he's probably gonna lose at least a tier 3 tower, if not 1 or 2 Rexes of his own. Boo Boo just sent out the scout a little bit at this point in time here. To pull the creeps away rather, actually. Just delay the creeps as much as they can facilitate the push. And yeah, Wilds are just sitting behind here, behind the creep wave. The rest of the team as well. Fade will not spot him out, barely out of vision's range. And Jeremiah looking to come in hot as well. Fade has to be very careful with how she approaches the non-forested areas from now on. Especially if she loses that second eye. It's going to be a huge problem for her. Well, so in preparation, charmed up, starts pushing the lane just a little bit, but doesn't overcommit to anything at all. And South Forest getting pretty close to his own Frostwolf Scout here, sitting on about 418 extra gold. Just needs a little bit more. Polywalk smoke will expire here. Reviewed by the creeps, so here they just clear them out once again. It should be a nice bottom tower push here. Meanwhile, the rest of Legion side looking to collapse onto the side of the Hellborn team here. Madman coming in hot, but will not be able to do so just yet. Fade doesn't overcommit at all with the PK, and they will back off as well. Already commented on the tower. Wild Soul will get bounced back, but will have the BKB on him with that Jeremiah ultimate, but will not be enough. Does not try to do anything but runs right out, but will die anyway. So kind of a wasted attempt by Reddit here. And to follow will be Jeremiah. Nothing that he can do. And Parasite, few right from man, so much damage coming out from him. And this is a real fight turner right here. Unable to do anything once they stop the Wild Soul. All the purges coming out from Pearl and from the Sand Scepter of Monarch here decimate the entire enemy team. Slither and Polywalk at this point in time don't have anything on them and can't do anything on their own. And this should be a Rex for the Legion team if Hellborn don't try to buy back. And Hellborn are gonna have to buy back at this point in time. And 5, 6, 7, 8 on Jeremiah is forced to commit that buyback straight up. Caught up immediately by Fate once again. Careless. Jeremiah just right out of position, and that will be a free lane of Rex for them. Madman stopped up by Polywalk, but he's coming in again. Wild Soul forced the buyback to try to defend as well, but Madman still very much alive and kicking here. BKB popped. Ultimate pop before they try to take the Rex, but it's alright. All they have to do right now is to disengage. They forced out so many buybacks. 5, 6, 7, 8 forced to use a double buyback. With one of them, of course, being a dieback. And one buyback forced out from Wild Soul as well. Of course, he does have another, but at this point of time, he has to be very, very careful with how he holds all of them. Going desperately for a Kongor at this point of time. And Token will go the way of Wild Soul once again. But they have to make full use of this. This should be the one with the bananas as well. So that will go the way of Jeremiah. He's already created an open slot for it. 5 Hellborn heroes force pretty much around their base. Any risky engagements could just spell the end of the game right now. A solo buyback from the Wild Soul would not be enough to really change anything at all. He just get kited out anyway, so they're playing a very dangerous game here. So standing at the helm, going for the push once again. But the rest of the team is right behind him, but will it be enough? Defense tower solo on health, just a few more hits on the dude. And they didn't even need the heroes, the creep did it for them. And it seems like they're pretty happy with that one. Bound Eye dropped on the floor, is it bait? What is going on here? Bound Eye just by the sidelines over here. Probably to bait Fate out, I suppose. That was weird. But Fate, with a Bound Eye of her own, will not be spotted out just yet. They're just spamming around, spamming his wards around. Meanwhile, Fate actually doing something here, flanking behind the entire enemy line to try and find an opening to stun 2 or 3 more heroes to start the fight off. No way of finding her out right now as of yet. Slither needs a ward or 2 inside that tree line to be able to find her. Legion, they start advancing on this Hellborn line. They know something, Hellborn knows something's up, and they back off in response, but Fate, her ulti has faded 4 more seconds until it's up again. And Polly really needs to toss more wards into this tree line, but they go straight for the Rex though. Polly wards dropped onto the base, and Preservation Bubble already popped to bounce people back and protect the Rex. Puzzle Box minions going for a little bit of a D-ward trip here. Slither still doesn't toss any wards into that tree line. Would be able to spot Fate out immediately should she do so. But Polly is in danger of being caught right now, so Forest collapsing in as well. Fate going in for the stun, will not be able to do so in time. Jeremiah pops the charm with the BKB and the ultimate as well. Everyone is protected up. They're going ham onto Pearl. Man is forced back at this point of time. Lots of Forest to fall soon as well. They're collapsing onto him and there's nothing he can do. Wild Soul, so much damage onto him. Doesn't even need a token. 26 seconds, doesn't matter. Running in to the Rex. Just go for it straight up. War Bubble doesn't even do anything at this point of time. Fate goes right onto that Wild Soul. Wild Soul dropping pretty low, but he can just stand his ground. No decides to just try and run back. Is gonna die anyway. Comes out, has the BKB to pop, pops it straight up. Still slowed up once again. No, he does not have his BKB anymore. Goes on the rest of the team. So much damage from the right click. Go melee motion will not be enough. Some Forest turns around. More damage from him and the rest of his team. Going on to Slither. Slither will fall as well. 3 heroes decimated in the blink of an eye. And Polly now forced to run away solo. Zlapped caught in the jungle as well. Nothing much they can do, but they do take the melee racks for it. And they might as well just use up their buybacks now because they have to. Welso and Parasite indeed already popped their buybacks and they run out to try and defend, but Polly will get decimated before they try to get there. Parasite tries to go on the Madman and go hard, but it will not be enough. Welso chases up with no speed and no slow. Lots of forest though. Right here, no mana thanks to the puzzle box minions. Hexed up as well. Welso should be able to take this kill despite the crystal. There's so much damage coming out from him still. And Monarch will be the remaining casualty here on the exit. But no Fate and Madman come right back in. Slither gets Stone Spirited up. In the meantime, Madman, one more right click ought to do it, and it will. Chasing down Wildsoul. Tangles with Wildsoul, and there's no way Wildsoul can fight. There's so much damage coming out from the Madman, and he takes down Parasite as well. Tongue tied up by Madman with the Slither ultimate here. Might be able to burst him down. Or at least DPS him down, excuse me. With the barrel roll, trying to negate as much damage as he can. But it should be enough. But it might be enough? We don't know. It's not enough. He manages to survive the entirety of the duration. Makes it right out at that point in time. And no buybacks at all for the team except for one on the Polywog and one on Parasite. One fight here could mean it all. And look at Madman. Symbol of Rage, BKB, Wingbow, and then 2 buybacks. And on top of that, enough money to buy back twice. 5,587 gold on his person right now. He is looking extremely good at this point in time. All they need to do is win a single team fight or 2. Doesn't matter if Madman dies. As long as he buys back straight up, they should be able to kill them and just go straight for throne. And we're just gonna go into a little bit of a strat pause right about now, or rather a little water break, as the rest of the all these players regroup their thoughts and just collect themselves once again. And just look at the charts. I mean, Madman 17% of hero damage. So much damage coming out from him with these right clicks, and unfortunately Wildsoul just can't keep up. He's actually tying and like losing a little bit, like to Slither in fact. And I get that Slither does do a lot of AoE DPS, but I mean, it's a Wildsoul. His right clicks, they're just not coming out. There are crucial moments when he has the option to like man fight or back, when he clearly should have just man fought, like when he was low on health, when about to pop these token of life, like when he was like a fair distance away when he could kite someone. It just makes more sense for him to just straight up right click. But it seems like he wants to try to wrap up that power right about now. Does pick up a Savage Mace as a new item on his person. Out of buyback, so might as well at that point in time. Here we see Slither just meandering around. They finally place a ward down on the lane, but it would be so easy to spot Fade out if he just tossed a ward or two into the tree line. Fade's just playing around them and they have no idea at all. They've got great vision, they've got great control of the map, all thanks to Fade at this point in time, and that's a huge problem for them. I mean, Fade can even spot out like the invis heroes that like the other people have, so oh, they might find her out at this point in time. Misplay by Fade, and she will get caught out. The damage though from that with the, it probably was a Skeleton King bind, right? Instantly, the moment Fade just misplayed there, didn't spot out Jeremiah with his invis. He spotted her out in first and they just took her right out, and there you go, no more vision for this Legion team, and it's gonna be a lot harder to play around Hellborn right about now. Should mean another free Congo take here for the side of Hellborn. They keep taking these Kongs, but are they really all that effective with the way they play? They get much more aggressive in those team fights, and when I say they, I mean WildSoul. WildSoul has to go balls deep, balls to the walls, and not really care about dying all that much with that token on him. Already committed here. And Polywog doesn't really have much else in his arsenal at that point in time. Taken out almost immediately, but no preservation bubble to be forced out in retaliation to that. Also here on the front lines, finally being that front line hero that he needs to be. He gets burst out immediately, but that's fine. At this point in time, now he has to pop his BKB and the rest of the team needs to help him out. Now the Soul Ultimate comes in, but he needs to turn and right click. Finally, WildSoul turning onto that Madman, but it's not going to be enough at that point of time. More Satisima first him down. Madman with the lifesteal from that symbol of rage is going to be enough, and that's going to be straight through for them. But Madman will fall actually.
Payback.
And will buy back almost immediately here. Does have post haste. Is going straight onto that middle lane as we predicted. Could go straight for a throne. This could be game at this point of time. And Polywog, the sole hero here, smoked up, running down the bottom lane. Nothing much he can do at all. There is still a good from them, and it will be committed at this point in time, but will it be enough? Madman, they're going for the safe play. They don't want to go straight for the throne actually. With 15 seconds on Slither and 20 seconds on that WildSoul, they just go straight for the Raxes instead of going straight for base. I guess it makes sense with Madman's ultimate about to wear off at that point in time. They didn't have enough of that pushing power to just take thrown straight up. So they take the smart play, they take the safe play, and they just go straight for the Raxes at that point in time. And it should be pretty good to even out the lanes right now, for Hellborn side, for Legion side, excuse me. And Hellborn, this is pretty much their last chance here. Forced out of buybacks, and well, pretty much nearly out of Raxes here. whoever wins this next fight, it's pretty much game. Alone, Madman, we're not sure if he can really do all that much. Although things are definitely looking better for this Legion team. You know, with just the solo power of Madman and his singular buyback that could turn the tide of the game. You can't say the same for Hellborn. The moment they lose a large scale team fight, they're just gonna lose the game. And here come Legion, they're going in for the GG push. They want to go straight for this. They want to be the aggressors now. But they have to be careful still. Losing could still be a huge detriment to them, although the closer they win the fight to the enemy base, the faster they can just end it straight up. And at this point in time, honestly, it doesn't even matter all that much. Feels like they might just be anxious to end off the game. Jeremiah does have a hex on himself as well. Not sure when he picked that up, but of course is looking to hex up that Madman so that he can't do anything about his situation. 7 seconds BKB duration should be outlasted in such long team fights. And the games honestly lasted so long. Monarch already has her Staff of the Master, so he has that double wave of Purifying Wind, so it's gonna be even harder to control Madman up. Forest building into what looks to be an Altar's Plate as well to make sure that he doesn't die and that he can tank up on the front lines. So Legion side looking even scarier as time passes by. And you look at Hellborn, they barely have anything at this point in time. Poly still has his same old items, and Parasite has, well, Abyssal Skull on top of what he had before. So things are looking pretty grim here for the Hellborn side, but should they win a fight, they should turn things around pretty damn heavily. Go is the GG team fight coming out from the Hellborn side. 4 heroes smoked up, running towards the jungle of the Legion team. No Conqueror to be found. Walking around, still trying to find them out, but nothing to be found just yet. Ward of Sight did spot out the creeps, like getting blocked up. So it's up to if Legion side saw those creeps being blocked up at all. But doesn't seem like Legion are going to be doing the same or responding to a threat like that, if they know at all. side, punching out, looking to perhaps make something happen. Now camping around in that Hellborn jungle, establishing their presence in this area, but might just go for a push on top, but perhaps not. Nothing really to be found here, and to go into the enemy base is far too risky for them as well. So Legion side don't seem to be wanting to make a move at all either. As the time passes, it seems like Madman's damage has only gotten higher, while the disparity between Wild Souls and Slither has only gotten larger as well. So unfortunately, Wild Souls still can't even out-damage his teammate at this point of time, which he really should be doing. Seems like both teams are just waiting for the Kong to be up, and he will be up at this point of time. Fate scouting out the area as well, waiting for Hellborn side to start trying to go for the Kong attempt. And once again, Slither will not be tossing the wards in the right places at all to spot out this Fate. Tossing them to the low ground will not review her either, unfortunately. Go straight in for that combo here at this point of time. Hellborn doesn't really have any way of taking Kong against them. The amount of vision control that Fate offers here. Just basically free Kong goes the way of Hellborn side. Token will be going on Fate instead this time, and Pearl will be picking up those bananas. So both of them looking to extend their presence in these team fights as well. Since everyone else seems to be pretty much 6 slotted right now, so they won't have any need for that at all. Exalt Forest has picked up a heart on top of the rest of his items, so he is looking to be extremely tanky. So much armor, magic armor, and health on him. So definitely looking to be the face tank of the team. Fade is kind of fed up with how the way the game is going, so just goes straight into the tree line of the Hellborn base. We'll see the ward and realize that he got spotted out, but is gonna continue to stay in that tree line. But just PK straight out, and the rest of the team should be able to go for a push here on that bottom lane. So Fate with that token should be able to jump in straight up for a stun on one or two heroes and just get the ball rolling. Meanwhile, Salfor just casually pushes up the tower all by himself. So much health and regen on him that it doesn't really even matter. Stuns up on the Polywalk freeze before he gets to drop the ultimate off with the preservation bubble as well, and no poly ultimate will be used. Soul's Blessing already committed Jeremiah, now on the run. All the Legion heroes now backing off. Madman dropping pretty low here. Storm Spirit will save him momentarily though. Goes right back to right clicking against those heroes. Slows up Jeremiah and the rest, but goes right back to the Rexes, and they will take the full set of Rexes, and GG will be called. That is game. D-Dog take the series 3-2 against Neolution Esports. In perhaps the most drawn-out game, D-Dog finally take a victory by sieging towards the base and making stuff happen. They pushed up, and there was just no way Neolution could hold up under the pressure of that push and just the power of like Madman and what he is, and the initiation that Fate could like bring. Very nicely done by both Fate and Pearl to stop the Polywalk from dropping his wards at all. And yeah, just pretty much D-Dog they just won the game that way by holding out and just having Madman carry harder than Wild. So that will be it for this tournament, folks. I'll see you next time, whenever the next tourney is, possibly. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed.